The string of ComicsGate books that just don't deliver keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. These people leave their crowdfunds open for years. They just build and build and build. It gets up to the point where it's $32,000, 720 backers for this. And then it's never going to get into backer hands. This sucks because as a person who builds campaigns and delivers regularly all the time, it just turns backers off from ever reading comic books again because they got screwed for usually $25, $30, maybe even bigger campaign donations. And so what they do is they just don't come back. They don't start and look for other creators. They just say, we tune out. It's really a big problem with the situation. That's why we're trying to build something different here, guys, and build a new movement that's actually based on comic books. So important here, guys. I've been creating and coming out with books since 2017. We have 13 graphic novels out, several different single issues. I have a Subscribestar where we actually have exclusive comics that actually only the people on there get to read. It's really been a real comic book movement here. Every dollar I've ever gotten from my crowdfunds, I've just put back into more art. And I've actually got 9 full graphic novels in development right now with different artists in various stages. So what I've done right now to kind of like mitigate things and just get you reading, because it really, reading's way more important than, and that's the whole deal. I don't, it's not the funding or whatever. It's about the reading. And so I've launched a Substack now, and I love Substack because it allows me to directly communicate with you. And I've started posting Flying Sparks up here page by page. And I've got as of today, the entire first issue is up here. So you can read this first issue absolutely free right here. You can read the whole first volume is for free. You can get it on my newsletter, which I give, which is in the description below as well. But I want you to get on the Substack. I've actually got, I'm doing some content. I've got a behind-the-scenes video that's coming out tomorrow on this, and I actually go through, there's so much depth to the dialogue and so many small nuances to what I set up in this issue that set up this entire series, which I did 5 full graphic novel volumes or 15 issues worth of content. And there's a lot here. So I can't wait for you to watch that video. This is in the description below. Sign up, guys. Sign up for the Substack. So important. Like I said, I understand if you've been burned or burned out before, but we just produce here, and we just keep putting out comics. We keep delivering to you in different and cool ways. We're innovating for the future just because it's all about reading comics, and I think you're going to love Flying Sparks. I really want to actually get back to this universe, and I'm toying with doing another Flying Sparks storyline. So, yeah, get on here. Let me know if this appeals to you. Of course, I've got lots of other comics. A little something for everybody is what we try to do over here, which is, again, when you've just got one book and you just launch it and you sit on it for 2-3 years, you kind of can't have a little something for everybody. You kind of just have one thing. And this is exactly one of those situations, again, with ComicsGate, where this has been out there. Of course, there was a very famous one a couple years back that just disappeared and didn't fulfill. There's been a bunch of these. Of course, we've got Liam Gray's Boy Island, which never fulfilled. I actually made a parody comic of it, but like 2 years ago, and it still hasn't fulfilled. Very funny stuff. And of course, then there's the big guys who like Ethan Van Sciver, who just is not working on his books, and 2-3 years to do a 48-page book. Like I said, I know it burns people out. And of course, that's exactly why we're building a better movement based on reading first. So join our community, guys. Hit the like and subscribe button. Join that Substack. Join our Discord. We like to talk comics in there as well. Let's get into what's going on. So saving the Death Raider comic. Yes, this is what he says right here. June 12th, after the last one was January 1st, said it's gone to the printer. It went to the printer yesterday. And of course, that was going to be it. Inking away at Death Raider 2. I don't know what he promised on here, but it seems like one of these situations where a guy didn't know what he was doing and promised a lot to his backers here. So you've got Death Raider. Let's see. What did he promise? Quite a bit. There's all these inked ones, inked pages and the like. What's going on? Pencil's done. Marker's done. Color's done. It says it's done. 55 pages of letters are done. Edits in progress. So his progress report said it was done, which is kind of odd. So what's going on here? I'm very, very confused at this juncture. We can see a PDF. John Malin he got in on this. That's probably, John Malin and pushed this. That always helps when one of those big guys does it. 64 pages with the stretch goals up to 100 pages. I mean, that's a lot of pages right here. But still, $30,000, easy. So my graphic novels are 66 pages, usually, full disclosure. And what happens is I can tell you the exact business math behind all of it. Right now, I've got Brett Booth to do a variant cover. So he bought all these variant covers and he just blew all his money on a lot of stuff. We're going to get into more mail-in T-shirts. Oh, my gosh. And so 66 pages of comic book art usually costs me around, I'll just do the math right now. Let's go, let's say about $12,000, okay? And then covers probably cost another couple $1,000. So you're at about $14,000 of art coming in on this. For delivery for a campaign that has around this sort of deal, you usually would end up having to spend $3,000 to $5,000 in shipping. So about $19,000, $20,000. So he should have had $12,000 profit left over after this campaign. What happened? Well, I guess we're going to find out as we get into the updates right here and look and see. So this was going, no update. I requested an update, was April 1st, even though it had gone to the printer in January 1st. He obviously didn't even know what he was doing with his printer there. Holidays update, interesting stuff. So here it is. Death Rider campaign was such a financial disaster. Wait a minute. How? You made $30,000. It costs a maximum of $20,000 if you know what you're doing. So where did this go? This is kind of wild. I pissed away my savings, and 3 years of my life I could have been doing anything else. Wait, so you spent savings on top? Who's managing this? Oh my gosh, crowdfunding is nearly dead. Well, that shouldn't apply here. You made $30,000 off of crowdfunding. What's going on? My peers' campaign totals drop with every new release. What does that have to do with anything? Again, I have left comic books for good and now have a very low-paying job in manufacturing. Again, confusing. Why did you have this $30,000 campaign, fail to fulfill it, and what does any of this have to do with any of that? Which is still higher than my livelihood was in crowdfunding, which was below the poverty line. Well, yeah, you're not going to do a full-time job on your first comic book. I mean, it's insane to think that you do that. And this is kind of one of the weird things about like the aspirational culture around comic books because, what would happen was John Malin, Ethan Van Sciver, and these guys would do these telethon live streams, and they'd mostly get each other up to about, I'm suspect on their campaign totals because I think they back each other. They've got secret fake backings going on. I'm very certain that's happening with those games to make it look more impressive than it actually is. And they'd bring up a few guys here and there to make 15, 20, 30K. And it'd always be around that range, right? Just to get things going. Very odd stuff right there, but that's exactly what happened. So that's what happened here for sure. And so this guy then, I made $30,000, thought he has a full-time job. You don't on one book, especially that's taken 2-3 years to produce. I mean, that's crazy that's the case. Why should you care? The point of crowdfunding in theories is it covers my bills while I work to promote a project. Yikes. I don't know about that. I thought it covered the project. That's the whole point. So full disclosure here, I've made over $300,000 in crowdfunding campaigns over the last several years, and I do this full-time. Actually, I don't take a dollar of it ever. Interesting. I get other funding from Amazon and other funding from YouTube and the like. And so I put all my money back into art for new projects. That's why I have 9 going right now. That's why I have a full-time job in this, because I'm going to keep coming out with book after book after book. That's why I'm a professional here, right? This never happened. It was my savings and freelance work that carried Death Raider through the campaign. So you drew it. Wait a minute. He drew it. Did he draw this himself? And then he still blew through the money? I'm very confused. Yet I want to deliver a few fans that supported this amazing project. Where does that leave the book? Either I come up with some sort of compromise in my debtors and the book ships fall of 2025, or it's bankruptcy and printing and shipping funds are confiscated. Wow. That's pretty wild. And so I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything of this guy. But it seems he fell for the trap of like, I'm going to be a full-time artist. And tried to get away with that over one crowdfund campaign where he had not done a comic book before, and this is what he's got going. And this is did he draw it? Art up. Who drew it? I can't tell just based on this game. He drew it himself. So there should literally be no expenses for this book. Like whereas I was like, okay, this is what it costs. No, it actually costs like maybe $5,000 to fulfill this book. So this is really absurd at this juncture. How does this even work? So I guess he did just blow the money on his own personal stuff and did not actually go and produce the book instead, which makes this kind of even sadder on that level. He's got a few comments on here. I think you misunderstand crowdfunding. It's meant to pay for the project, not living expenses. You want something like Patreon or Subscribestar, correct? Can't believe this is the update. Your update reads as a confession of a thief seeking unearned absolution. You abuse the trust of new and old fans. This is what sucks. Again, as a creator, you watch this and you go, oh gosh, this guy really is causing problems. And guess what? They're just not going to back books again. They're not going to come out. Unfortunately, like, Robert, come over to my books. I've been producing books, and they come out regularly. I've got a beautiful one in development you're absolutely going to love. Unfortunately, like, he's not even going to watch this video. He's just going to tune out. And that's what happens here, because when these people get burned, they just get burned, and so they don't want to come back into this kind of environment. Very, very sad. This is exactly why I finished the book before I ever launch a crowdfunding. When I say I have 9 in development, you're not going to see a crowdfund page until the art's done, because I don't want to have to deal with a situation like this ever. It's crazy. So here's one right here. There's no excuse on this. You know the type of person I am, not a professional comic creator, not doing my job for magazines' money for the love of the medium. That's right. I wanted to wait and start my own crowdfunding until I had most 80 pages completed, etc. And he goes on. Roach Balls has a shitty comic. It pulled it off. That's pretty funny. So you thought you could sit on $32K and make a comic and expect to sustain your bills? You should have had a job. Yeah, obviously. Keep your book. I don't want it. Why weren't you working a job while making this comic book? $32K is hardly enough to last for anyone, especially since this is a 3-year-old campaign. Like, why did it take this long? I mean, he's working on it on the side anyway, right? This is really, really sad. Refund my money. That's a bummer, Rob. Speaking for myself, if all you can do is a PDF, I'm okay. Jeez. Crazy stuff right here. But again, I feel like this happens in Kickstarter crowdfunds and the like all the time, but I feel like it happens just a little bit more with the ComicsGate crowd. This is just another notch in just a terrible belt that's going around with this, and it's tough with this movement. But that's exactly why we need to build a new one. The moral of the story, guys, is you're in the right spot, and you found somebody who actually produces. You found somebody who's got rich worlds. We've got a superhero world. We've got a fantasy world. We've got sci-fi worlds. This is where it's at, because I do work full-time on this. I'm not screwing around for 2-3 years on one book, because that's silly. I am getting things done. I'm building a universe, and I want you here, my friends. So start reading. Get on the Substack today. This is where you need to be at. There's going to be a beautiful behind-the-scenes look at Flying Sparks tomorrow. And Flying Sparks has sold more than 5,000 copies of its books. This is like a legit property at this point. And like I said, I'm toying with doing it again because I miss these characters. It's been a while. And so this is a great spot to start. Check it out. I've got my science fiction world with Overmind and the like, which you can also check out as well in my web store. My newsletter is a good spot to be. But get on the Substack for now. This is so important, guys. Build our new movement, build our community together. Let's rebuild comics the right way with reading first. Look, I'm not even asking you to buy anything. I'm asking you to just come read. How many people do that in this space? Nobody, right? And that's how confident I am that we are building something that's real, that's way better than ComicsGate, and we're going to do it right this time. Thanks so much for being here. Leave a comment down below. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back.